From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Monday, October the 29th, 2018. We open, of course, with the mass shooting this past Saturday at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, where 11 people were murdered because they were Jewish. Joyce Feinberg, Richard Gottfried, Rose Mallinger, Jerry Rabinowitz, Cecil Rosenthal, David Rosenthal, Bernice Simon, Sylvan Simon, Daniel Stein, Melvin Wax, and Irving Younger. The killer, Robert Bowers, who yelled, "All Jews must die," as he opened fire inside the synagogue Saturday, appeared in federal court today. He faces 29 charges, including hate crimes and a possible death penalty. Condemnation of the attack has been heard from around the world. President Donald Trump called it a wicked act of pure evil. The United Nations Security Council held a moment of silence, as did Israel's cabinet today, and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu expressed his support.
I was heartbroken and appalled by the murderous attack on the Pittsburgh synagogue today. The entire people of Israel grieve with the families of the dead. We stand together with the Jewish community of Pittsburgh. We stand together with the American people in the face of this horrendous anti-Semitic brutality, and we all pray for the speedy recovery of the wounded.
Rallies were held across Israel, the United States, and the world, including at the 6th Presbyterian Church of Pittsburgh, right around the corner from the Tree of Life. On Saturday night, Pope Francis led prayers for Pittsburgh in St. Peter's Square yesterday, saying all of us are wounded by this inhuman act of violence. Two Muslim-led nonprofits, Celebrate Mercy and Empower Change, organized a fundraising effort called Muslims Unite for Pittsburgh Synagogue. This morning, they had already raised almost $120,000 in partnership with the Islamic Center of Pittsburgh, who will work together with Tree of Life to distribute the funds to the families of the victims and the wounded. Israel's Consul General in New York, Dani Dayan, flew to Pittsburgh to attend the funerals of the victims. He said an anti-Semitic event, even if thousands of kilometers from Jerusalem, is a local event for the State of Israel. Jewish organizations shared their outrage and grief. The Union for Reform Judaism said the murders break our collective heart. B'nai B'rith International said Saturday was another devastating day for tolerance and acceptance. The Anti-Defamation League said it was unthinkable that such an attack could happen here in the U.S. and that it would remain steadfast in its mission to fight anti-Semitism. The American Jewish Committee CEO David Harris said what happened in Pittsburgh should unite all Americans to confront the toxic hatred and extremism in our country. Rabbi of the Tree of Life, Jeffrey Myers, told the press that his synagogue had been desecrated, but he said it would rebuild.
The bullet holes are too numerous to count, but we will rebuild because we're a Tree of Life. We've been here 154 years, and you can cut off some branches, but the tree will continue to grow, and we will be back.
Turning now to some other news. A spike in violence from Gaza this weekend. Beginning late Friday night and into Saturday morning, some 34 rockets were fired from Gaza at Israel, 13 of which were shot down by the Iron Dome missile defense system. The rest fell in open areas. No damage or injury was caused. In response, the IDF hit 95 terror targets in Gaza. And despite earlier reports today of a possible ceasefire, about 3,000 Palestinians rioted today at the Gaza border fence, throwing rocks and firebombs and trying to breach the fence. Israeli troops were using riot dispersal measures. The Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry said a Palestinian man was killed. And a group of Palestinian boats set sail from Gaza to try and breach the naval blockade. Israeli Navy vessels were at the scene. Well, Israel's national anthem was heard for the first time yesterday at the Abu Dhabi Grand Slam, and then for a second time today. If you recall, last year, the Israeli team was not allowed to display any national symbols, and Hatikva was not allowed to be played at the international judo competition. Israel's Minister of Culture and Sport, Miri Regev, said it had taken 2 years of work to reach this point with the United Arab Emirates. She accompanied the Israeli team this year and was visibly moved as Hatikva played yesterday for Israeli judoka Sagi Muki, who won a gold medal. Another gold was won today by Israeli judoka Peter Palchik. Regev today also visited Abu Dhabi's Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque, the first Israeli minister to do so, extending a message of peace. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Monday, October the 29th at 7 o'clock. It's The Wisdom of Dr. Ruth. At 7:30, remarks from the president of Romania at last year's AJC Global Forum. At 8, filmmaker Ruth Beckerman talks about her biographical drama about former United Nations Secretary General Kurt Waldheim on Jewish Cinematheque. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with Yehuda Sarna on L'chaim. At 10, Malcolm Gladwell speaks at the 92nd Street Y. And coming up right after this newscast tonight at 6:30, it's In the News with Mark Golub, who speaks more about the tragic shooting this weekend in Pittsburgh. And that's the JBS News Update for Monday, October the 29th, 2018. I'm Teisha Bader.